The most powerful man in NASCAR just experienced the worst day of his life in a courtroom, and a legendary team owner dropped a revelation no one expected. Inside a federal courthouse in Charlotte, the high-stakes battle between NASCAR and two race teams hit a breaking point. Three major figures took the witness stand, and what they revealed under oath stunned everyone. Here's how it unfolded when the tough questions started flying. First up was Jim France, NASCAR's 80-year-old chairman and CEO. His family has controlled the sport for more than 75 years, and he rarely speaks publicly. But on this day, he had no choice but to answer every question under oath. The lawyers representing Michael Jordan's 23XI Racing and Front Row Motorsports came loaded with emails, documents, and evidence. They immediately began drilling into how NASCAR handled contract negotiations with the teams. Their opening questions were basic. Did France recall the details of the charter talks? His response shocked the courtroom. "I don't recall," he said. They asked about specific meetings. Again, France claimed he couldn't remember. Over and over, he either offered clipped answers or said he didn't remember at all. Spectators were floored. This is the man who runs NASCAR. How could he forget critical business decisions? The lawyers showed him emails with his own name on them and asked if he remembered sending or reading them. He couldn't give clear answers. Sometimes he said, maybe. Sometimes, I'm not sure, but never anything firm or confident. Then a lawyer pressed him on NASCAR's negotiation strategy. Did teams truly have the opportunity to negotiate? France insisted they did. He said teams could have walked away, and NASCAR wasn't forcing anyone to sign. That's when the lawyer revealed documents showing NASCAR issued a strict ultimatum. Sign by September 6th at 6 p.m. or lose your charter. The lawyer asked if that sounded like teams had any real choice. France tried to defend it, saying teams were savvy business people who understood the deal. He claimed the terms were fair, but his voice didn't match the confidence of his words. Legal analysts said he looked rattled. Next came questions about the contract clause banning teams from ever suing NASCAR. Why did NASCAR need such extreme protection? France said it was standard business practice and meant to provide stability. The lawyer challenged him, reminding the court that most companies don't ask partners to give up all legal rights forever. If the deal was fair, why demand such an extreme clause? France denied any wrongdoing, but couldn't offer a convincing explanation. Judge Kenneth Bell didn't hold back. Several times he cut in, urging France to give direct answers and saying, "I don't recall," wasn't good enough. At one moment, which quickly went viral among trial watchers, he sarcastically apologized to NASCAR's attorneys after multiple objections, making it painfully clear he was tired of the interruptions. Legal observers said it was one of the clearest signs yet that the judge's patience with NASCAR was fading fast. After 2 grueling hours, France stepped down, and it was obvious the testimony had gone poorly for NASCAR. Next came Steve Phelps, NASCAR's president and COO. Unlike France, Phelps had been deeply involved in the day-to-day negotiations. The lawyers didn't waste time. They asked him about the final round of talks, when NASCAR delivered what they called their final offer. In September, a take-it-or-leave-it deal. When asked how much room teams had to negotiate after that, Phelps admitted there wasn't much. NASCAR had already settled on the terms. Then the conversation shifted toward 23XI Racing, Michael Jordan's team. Phelps's expression hardened as he described the negotiations. He said 23XI constantly pushed back, demanding changes, more fairness for teams, and financial improvements. The lawyer asked whether the frustration came from unreasonable demands or from the fact that NASCAR had already closed the door on negotiation. Phelps said it was the latter. 23XI wanted to negotiate after NASCAR had already decided the deal was final. Then came the question that hit the core of the lawsuit. If NASCAR had already made up its mind, was it really a negotiation at all? Phelps said NASCAR listened to teams throughout the year, but ultimately NASCAR alone determined the final contract. When asked whether any team proposed changes made it into the final deal, Phelps admitted the contract was almost entirely NASCAR's version. The lawyer then brought up revenue. Teams wanted a bigger share. Did NASCAR seriously consider it? Phelps said they reviewed it, but ultimately refused. NASCAR believed the current distribution was fair. The lawyer pulled up comparisons. NFL teams get about 48% of revenue. NBA teams get 50%. NASCAR teams get 25%. Why so low? Phelps argued that NASCAR is structured differently. It owns the tracks. promotes the races, and does more operational work. But the lawyer pointed out that this structure gives NASCAR total control, leaving teams with no alternatives. Phelps insisted teams still benefit from the system, saying charter values have risen and teams are financially stable. The lawyer pointed to multiple teams that shut down or struggle. If teams are so financially healthy, why do they keep closing? Phelps offered a weak answer. Racing is expensive, and some businesses fail. After Phelps's testimony wrapped, the courtroom buzzed. But nothing prepared anyone for what happened next. Richard Childress, one of NASCAR's most respected owners, and a man who actually signed the controversial contract, took the stand. When the lawyer asked how he felt when he signed the charter agreement, Childress took a long breath and dropped a bombshell. He said he felt blindsided. The courtroom went silent. Remember, this is someone who agreed to the contract. Childress explained that NASCAR's approach and the intense deadline blindsided him. He felt he had no real choice. The lawyer pressed, "Why not refuse like 2311 in front row?" Childress grew emotional. He said saying no would have destroyed everything he'd built, hundreds of employees, sponsors relying on him, drivers whose careers depended on him fielding cars.